Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to speak about a misconception having to do with selling and assertiveness. A lot of people have the idea that in order to successfully sell, they need to be more assertive. And the reason they aren't being more successful is that they simply aren't as assertive as they need to be. This is a misconception, and I'd like to illustrate the point. Let's say that you go into a department store. Let's say that you want to buy a shirt. Let's say that a saleswoman approaches you and begins to annoy you and ask you, what are you looking for? How can I help you? Is this a gift? What size do you need? And so on. After a while, she makes herself into a real pest, and you really don't want to deal with her. It might get to the point that you actually want to leave the store. But the truth is that you're fully capable of buying a shirt. You're an adult. You've done this before, you know how to buy your own shirt, and you really don't need any help, and you don't want to be pressured. Do you remember what that experience is like? I'm sure you've all had it. We've all been approached by the overzealous salesperson. I want to give you an illustration of this, which will illustrate this point in a graphic sense. One of the things I do in my seminars is I ask people to just hold their hand up like this, and then I take my hand and I push against their hand, like this. And 98% of the time when I do that, they push back. Now, I didn't ask them to push back, but that's an instinctive response. And that is that if you push somebody, they will push back. People do not like to be pushed. The hard sell does not work. And even if you succeed in getting that person as your customer or your client, you will not like that relationship. It will be difficult, it will be testy. The person will not want to pay his or her bills. It's going to be an unhappy relationship, a relationship that you really don't want to have. I remember that I had a client of mine who had a prospect who was traveling on the very same Long Island Railroad line, and he spied him one morning, and he decided that he would travel at the very same time and act as if he had sort of just coincidentally come upon him and sit down next to him and begin to talk to him about the sale of his product. So he made this a habit. Every morning he would be there when this prospect was there. Every morning he would act as if he was surprised, and every morning he would be pressuring and pressuring and pressuring. Eventually that prospect started to take a train at a different time because he did not want to be pressured. None of us like to be pressured. None of us want to be put in that position. Don't put other people in that position. You not only will not win the sale, you will lose the sale, and you will lose the possibility of any future sales to that person. Are there any questions?